it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they loved me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
They say passion can be the greatest teacher, but what happens when life itself becomes the hardest lesson? Let me take you back to the moment I discovered my purpose in the most unexpected way, a journey forged through sacrifice, resilience, and an unwavering dream. From a young age, I knew I wanted to be a musician. It wasn't just a passing fancy or a fleeting interest. It was a burning fire within me that I couldn't ignore. But back then, I didn't fully understand what I was passionate about. I had no experience, no roadmap, and no instruments of my own. All I knew was that music was something I needed to chase, even if I couldn't yet explain why. Growing up, I didn't have the luxury of resources or opportunities. My mom was a single parent doing everything she could just to keep us afloat. We didn't own a house or have any stability to rely on. There were nights when we barely had enough to eat. As much as I wanted to ask her to sign me up for music lessons or clubs, I couldn't bring myself to do it. It wasn't just about money. I saw how hard she worked, and more than anything, I wanted to lighten her load. Some nights I would stand by the window, gazing out at the world and imagining a different reality for her. I dreamed of giving my mom the kind of life she never had, one filled with joy, comfort, and ease. That dream became my driving force. It was no longer just about music. It was about creating a better future for her, for us. When I heard about an after-school band program, it felt like a lifeline. It was designed for kids like me, those who didn't have much but shared a love for music. I didn't hesitate to join. The first time I walked into that room, I was overwhelmed by all the instruments around me. Drums, guitars, flutes, and violins. I didn't know where to begin, but I knew I had to start somewhere. The teachers there were different from anyone I'd met before. They saw something in me. They something I hadn't fully recognized yet. They didn't just teach me how to play. They lent me instruments to take home so I could practice. And let me tell you, I practiced like my life depended on it. Every note, every chord, every beat became my escape, my therapy, and my hope all rolled into one. One day, a teacher pulled me aside and said, "Hey, you've got something special. Don't waste it." Those words stuck with me. They weren't just encouragement. They were a challenge to rise above my circumstances and prove to myself that I could do this. I began exploring different instruments, piano, drums, trumpet, and guitar. Each one felt like a new world, a fresh way to express myself. I'd bring the instruments home after practice, and sometimes my mom would catch me playing. I can still remember the look on her face, pure astonishment. You're amazing, she'd say with a smile. You've got a talent the world needs to see. Her words warmed my heart, but deep down I knew I wasn't ready. I was finally getting real coaching, real guidance. The instructors didn't just teach me the mechanics of music. They showed me how to feel it, how to let it flow through me, and I loved every moment of it. With each session, I could feel myself improving. I wasn't just playing anymore. I was creating, expressing, becoming. As my skills grew, so did my belief that maybe, just maybe, I could turn this dream into something real. But it didn't take long for me to notice the toll the music classes were taking on my mom. She started looking for a second job, and our meals became smaller and smaller. Dinner Once a small comfort was now barely enough to get us by. Some nights, my mom would sit across from me at the table and insist she wasn't hungry. She was claiming her body, was faking some, here's the way we go across her. She was doing everything she could to make sure I had enough, even if it meant going without herself. And just to keep going was always how you supposed to feel, going through these things. And every bite I took felt heavier, like I wasn't just eating food. I was consuming her dreams and her strength. Guilt started to weigh on me. What was the point of chasing my dream if it meant my mom had to suffer? The music classes, once my escape, now felt like a burden I couldn't justify. Every note I played felt hollow, overshadowed by the image of my mom coming home exhausted from another long day, trying to stretch every penny just to make ends meet. I couldn't let it continue. One evening I told her I was thinking of dropping out of school to find a job and help her. I'll never forget the look she gave me, a mix of sadness and defiance. No, she said firmly, you need your education. I won't let you ruin your future for me. I tried to argue, but she wouldn't hear it. For her, my dreams were non-negotiable. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that the music classes were too much, so I told her I didn't want to go anymore. To my surprise, she simply said, okay. I thought that was the end of it, but not long after, my mom came to me with an idea. She suggested I start singing while I played the guitar, saying it would elevate the music and make it even more powerful. She told me I had an amazing voice, a compliment I'd heard before but never fully embraced. Even with her encouragement, I hesitated. I didn't want to rely solely on my voice. I wanted to master instruments, to prove to myself I was capable of more. But deep down, her suggestion stuck with me. It wasn't just about the music. It was about finding a way to push forward and make everything she had sacrificed worth it. My mom never stopped believing in me. One day, my biggest supporter came up with an idea. She wanted to post videos of me singing and playing guitar on YouTube so our family and friends could see my talent. Honestly, I didn't think much of it. I figured a few people might watch, but that would be the extent of it. So please, my mom still lives with me, and I wanted to make her proud. When she started uploading videos, I didn't have any grand expectations. I was just happy knowing my mom was proud of what I was doing. But then something strange started happening. The videos were getting noticed, first by people we knew, then by complete strangers. Comments started rolling in, filled with words like amazing, raw talent, and incredible. I was blowing up and I didn't even realize it at first. People began saying I had a voice the world needed to hear, and for the first time, I started to believe them. It was surreal. This little dream, which had once seemed impossible, was now being recognized on a scale I'd never imagined. Then, something happened that changed everything. A talent agent reached out to me. He said he saw something special and believed he could help me become a well-known singer. My mom was over the moon. She told me this was my chance, my way to make a name for myself. And I trusted her judgment. Things picked up quickly after that. I trusted her judgment, and I trusted her. And I think others picked it up too. Then came the moment that felt straight out of a movie. A last-minute audition with Usher himself. I remember walking into that room, my nerves threatening to take over, but as soon as I started singing, everything else faded away. Usher loved it, and he told me he wanted to help me sign a record deal, and just like that, my life shifted. Suddenly, I wasn't just a kid with a dream. I was an artist with a real shot at making it. Usher became more than just a mentor. He became a friend. He guided me through the whirlwind that followed, offering advice and